Hi, I'm Bob Garrett. At Hackensack Meridian Health, we believe that all residents need to be informed about the important healthcare issues that affect their lives. That's why we're very proud to support the important programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation.
Funding for this edition of Think Tank with Steve Adubato has been provided by Hackensack Meridian Health, PSE&G, committed to providing safe, reliable energy now and in the future. The Northward Center, the law firm of Gibbons, P.C., the New Jersey Education Association. Choose New Jersey. Our mission is attracting companies to the Garden State. And by MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey. Promotional support provided by Insider NJ. And by NJ.com. Small news, big news, true Jersey.
Welcome to the Voice Summit here on the campus of NJIT. That is the New Jersey Institute of Technology, for those of you who may not know. This is the largest Voice Summit, I don't know, in the country. We're talking to Joel Bloom in a second, the president of NJIT, maybe in the world, I don't know. Joel, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you, and welcome back to Voice 2.
Voice 2. Now, we have to set this up. We were here last year, and I'm going to say this. There were fewer people, fewer exhibits. There wasn't this much energy, even though it was a big deal. What makes this Voice Summit an even bigger deal? Dr. Bloom?
Well, obviously, the industry, word of mouth, and people said, how did you miss it? Whether they were speaking here in New Jersey, across the country in California, or possibly overseas in London. As you probably recall, we had 11 countries here last year, and I think we're over 20 countries represented. So it's an international conference. It is the largest international conference on voice technology.
Let's put this in context. The term voice technology gets used a lot. And by the way, the interviews that you're going to see, the programming that you're going to see, particularly under the banner of our new series, Think Tank, big picture discussion. There are a lot of issues here with voice technology, but first of all, can you define, Joel, voice technology? I just should disclose two things. Joel is a member of our board,
right,
of our not-for-profit company, and also NJIT is one of our higher ed partners. Go ahead.
So voice technology is what allows you to engage with any current form of technology without keystroking. It listens to the spoken word, and the technology reacts to the spoken word. It's all about language. You'll hear the term natural language. It just means you can talk to technology, and it'll respond to the narrative it's hearing. That's simple.
Okay, this event is sponsored by Amazon Alexa. Is that the primary, Alexa, is that the primary voice vehicle that has kicked off this explosion?
They were, I don't know if they were first to the market, but as we know, we saw Echo 3+ years ago. We saw Alexa 3.5 years ago. So they were probably the first in the application in the consumer marketplace. The technology has been around for a while. They just optimized its use and won the early part of the marketplace. There's a lot of competition now. Samsung is here with Bixby, for example.
We'll be talking to those folks.
Yeah, so there's a lot more competition.
Google's in this as well?
Google's in it.
We'll talk to them.
Yeah.
A lot of players.
A lot of players. And the bigs, those are the bigs. There are a lot of smalls.
Yeah, talk about that. Talk about the startups, because I know that for the university, that is in fact a key, helping individuals, entrepreneurs who want to get into this technology, but what does it mean to help them with a startup?
Well, for example, this morning—
You're not giving them money.
They do get money. This morning, David Isbitsky,
Tell folks who that is.
He's the chief evangelist of Alexa and Echo, a 1998 alum of NJIT, the Albert Dorman Honors College. David asked the people this morning, how many of you actually have added skills, the term of art today is skills, to the Echo? Meaning, you just did you used your Echo, and you took it a little further by actually doing coding via your voice. You don't have to sit down and code into it.
What did he find out?
He found out it must have been about 2/3 of the people in the audience. I don't know, about 1,000 people there this morning. Their hands went up. And then later he brought up some of the developers, designers who they've contracted with for gaming, for example. So Amazon Alexa now is hiring smaller companies to develop the next iterations of voice technology, the content. So that's where the startups come in.
Hold on, let's get this right. Did I make a mistake when I said there is no money? What I meant was NJIT is not providing grants to startups.
Oh, you know, we do. You're going to hear from Simon Nines after me. He's leading that effort for NJIT.
Are they grants, loans? What are they?
Well, it happens in several ways. For example, faculty and students here are developers. They're designers. There are, I don't know, about 300 students who have grants this summer to work on their technology. That could emerge into intellectual property commercialization. We also give seed grants to faculty to get their research started or to make a change in the research. Everyone today, because of the ease of technology, can be a designer or a developer.
Anyone?
Anyone. Well, not maybe anyone.
But you have to have desire, you have to have some skills, you have to be tough as an entrepreneur and deal with the peaks and valleys, if you will. But the other thing that's interesting is this voice summit, this huge voice summit, and our partners at NJTV News did a great job. We're here on the second day. They were here yesterday for the kickoff. Great story, you should check it out on NJTV News. But what I was struck by is not only the number of people here, but the number of younger people here. And I think sometimes people, you know, Joel and I are dressed, we were joking about this, we're dressed in suits and ties. There are a whole bunch of younger people here, let's say dressed down, t-shirts, whatever. They are business people. They want to get all in here, and they're entrepreneurs.
So this year, as compared to last year, if you peruse who's in attendance, you'll see many more CEOs. So CEOs, the chief executive officer of the various companies. So, you know, some of us are stuck in a groove. You assume CEO, a little white here. These are the CEOs in their T-shirts, their jeans, and their latest
Just
footgear.
as committed, if not more.
And working hard. It's harder today. You know about all the startups that do not succeed.
Yep, the vast majority.
99% of them really don't succeed. So these guys and gals are in this for a haul. Look at the representation of all of the companies here. These are the ones that are succeeding. We could probably fill 10 times this space, probably 90 times this space with all those that didn't succeed.
Joe, before I let you go, I'm sorry. Newark.
Yeah.
The Voice Summit coming to Newark. Okay, it's one thing to be on your campus. It's another thing to be a part of this city. Why Newark, and how much does it matter to the city, Brick City?
It matters big time, and you may have read just in the last week, Newark is the fastest developing tech hub in the greater metropolitan New Jersey.
Hold on, I thought Brooklyn was.
No, Newark. Read the press.
We got an audience in Brooklyn. You're telling me Newark is bigger?
Newark is bigger.
Faster growing.
It's fastest growing. It's not bigger.
What does that mean? Break that down.
Oh, it's probably per capita. And, you know, remember Newark's a small size.
Yes.
So they always use per capita. So per capita, it's the fastest growing number of employed people here working in the tech industries. It's estimated to be nearly 30,000 people in this size city. So it's a small city. Brooklyn is the biggest city than is Newark.
Newark is only 22 square miles.
Right.
People forget that.
Right.
So there are jobs. There's economic development.
Amen.
What else, real quick?
Well, there's all kind of properties being developed. One of the big, I think it was JP, just invested $570 million plus into purchasing property. We saw what Lotus did a couple years ago. You saw our friends just took a church and opened into a development area. Google.
A lot going on.
Yeah, a lot going on.
By the way, check our website to find out the other spots.
And our students, they're roaming around here. They're getting the jobs. It's a wonderful economy for people who just are a little tech savvy, good communication skills. That's the other half of this equation, the ability to communicate well.
The human side of it.
The human side.
Joel and I talk about human communication all the time.
Yeah. So, big time.
Big deal.
Big deal.
All right, so this is the official Voice Summit hat.
It is.
We're going to pay for this. I just want to make that clear. It's happening at NJIT, largest in the
World.
Go big or go home. This is Steve Adubato. That is Joe Bloom. We are at NJIT. This is the Voice Summit. Stay with us right after this.
To watch more Think Tank with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
Welcome to the Voice Summit. I'm Steve Adubato, coming to you from NJIT. That's in Newark, New Jersey, the largest Voice Summit in the world. And one of the areas we're trying to look at is health technology. And we're joined to break that down by Cris De Luca, Global Director of Digital Innovation, Johnson & Johnson Innovation. Good to see you, Chris.
Good to see you, Steve. Thank you.
I say healthcare technology. You say?
Digital health?
What does that mean?
It's really, good vocabulary. So the reason we use this vocabulary is usually to catalyze a new field altogether. So, at some point, we may say health is just health and medicine is just medicine. Why differentiate by adding this additional, health tech piece of it? And I think it's really important because it's a new ecosystem. You have new skills, you have new kinds of talent, you have designers, you have engineers. It's not your classic sort of medical profile that you'd be looking for to catalyze this new field forward. So really, this vocabulary encompasses things from, health and wellness applications, from, how you might book an appointment, how you might interact with your doctor.
By voice?
Well, for voice
Let's stay on voice right now.
Stay on voice.
I'm curious about this.
Well, voice technology, I would probably break it down into two distinct camps. So number one is the digital conversation. So what you're seeing around, the world of the Alexa interactions, it's the conversational aspect of it. So tying both your how you speak and how those commands, and you're trying to sort of reduce friction by reducing the number of, taps or clicks you might make. So that could be with how you're engaging with brands. That could be how you might engage with, even a consumer, packaged good, all the way to like clinical trials. So how might one be on a medication?
Clinical trials?
Yeah, so you can imagine a clinical trial, all of the interaction, the burden, the constant assessments one might need to make when, how are you feeling? How are you responding to the medication? How are you doing? Being able to continuously survey. Can you imagine the voice interaction being just so low friction and being able to capture that kind of information in a very natural way that one may be already living? This is a space that's high interaction, high touch, and high demand. So you could think of clinical trials, even the hospital settings.
Go ahead.
So you can imagine an ER space where this room now, instead of asking how many times are you allergic, what do you have, what are you, being able for a physician to be able to use a voice transcription service to be able to capture clinical notes.
Chris, does this take out the human component in healthcare in terms of human interaction?
I'd argue that it augments the human component.
How so?
Well, right now you basically have a doctor who's basically typing at the keyboard while the patient's over here.
They're called electronic medical records.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Very important. So they're filling out all this information, and really, as we push more information onto the physician and more technology to the physician to digitize this experience, it's removing a little bit of the bedside connection.
Because if I'm talking to you, I'm the doctor, you're the patient. As a PhD, my kids remind me I'm not a real doctor, at least in the context of what you're talking about.
Right.
I want to understand what's going on with you. I'm asking questions. As I'm asking you, I'm coming over here and I'm typing. As I'm typing, what do you feel in this vulnerable position? You don't know what's going on. What about the impact on the human interaction?
Actually, but that's the opportunity. So instead of you looking back and forth to your screen,
that's an opportunity?
Well, no, what you're typing is where voice corrects that opportunity. So basically, if a doctor is typing on their computer and filling out all this information, yes, you said this, yes, you said this, that actual...
The mechanics of that get in the way of interpersonal communication. How does voice help?
So if voices...
Could help.
Imagine, so there are applications, there are companies here today that are apps that would transcribe that interaction. So the voice technology is recording it, our conversation in the background, digitizing it.
But given the fact that we've talked to a lot of programmers,
right.
One of the things that keeps sticking in my mind, Chris, is what about the accuracy? What about the quality control there, that it's going to be transcribed as it has been said?
Correct. I mean, look, this is an experiment. This is all happening right now. That's why this conference is in its second year. So there's an emergence of these kinds of opportunities. I mean, have you looked at your medical record? Do you think it's perfect grammar and it's well accurate? I mean, I think there's a lot of improvement across. And we're talking about one very specific example.
Right.
If you look at the broader space, I mean, healthcare also has the other camp that I mentioned. So we talk about the conversational side of it, but we also think of voice as a vital sign. So,
what do you mean?
So voice, the data itself, it's not so much the fact that you can interact with the machine and have this sort of chat. That's great, it's command-driven, still a lot of work to do in that space. But we start to sort of look at the biomarker side of voice. So if you think of voice, the analytics around it, think of everything it takes to deliver good speech.
Sure.
Neural integration, muscular articulation, motor control, so many things, 100 muscles need to get to work in order to deliver that perfect pitch. So underlying that are about 400 signatures that could suggest whether one's change in health
Signatures
might be
meaning variables.
Variables, quantifiable measures.
What about people who are older? What about people who have a speech challenge? What about people who are so sick in that situation that they can't articulate in the way you just described and don't have all the capabilities?
Right.
Then what does that do? I'm not trying to be negative, but I am curious as to how that impacts the quality of the voice and how it's transcribed.
Well, the opportunity here is really on the early detection side. So you need to think about sort of applications that are emerging right now when it might be able to identify early if one might be on the road to cognitive impairment. So we have a company in our portfolio who's sitting in our incubator network in Toronto. So we're an external innovation arm of Johnson & Johnson. We focus on startups. We partner with early stage
share
companies.
this. Johnson & Johnson are a longtime supporter of what we do in public broadcasting. Here's my question. Do go back to the cognitive piece.
Yes.
There are some of us who have loved ones who are struggling with cognitive issues.
Right.
Now, right now, a very close loved one cannot communicate, but 8 years ago he could. Therefore, if the technology were in place, what could have happened then that can't happen now?
One could imagine, and this is some of the examples of technologies like this company, for example. They're looking to build a screener for mild cognitive impairment. So imagine point of care, check in with your primary care, getting all your blood work. Maybe there's a voice screener that happens as well, where they would be able to monitor and quantify an early signal.
Go ahead.
Are you on the road to, a decline in cognition? Is this something that could infer Parkinson's? Could it give us early indicators of Alzheimer's? Could it give us early detection on, so any changes in that sort of neurological, because of all of that quantifiable information that's inside of your voice. So it's not, are you saying it correctly? It's not, it's really the analytics around the voice.
Last question, Chris. What's in it for J&J?
Well, J&J is, the most broadly based healthcare company in the planet. We're in home turf here. New Brunswick, New Jersey is just a stone's throw away. J&J launched really an external innovation program 6 years ago to really start up a new organization which would partner with early stage companies. So we're looking to accelerate all areas of therapeutic interest, consumer goods, and medical device businesses that would actually be able to create new solutions. I mean, think of the entire world that we just talked about. It's mostly a reactive sick care system.
As opposed to
a proactive
assertive.
Could you imagine managing your health as opposed to managing your sickness?
Cris De Luca, Global Director of Digital Innovation, Johnson & Johnson Innovation. I want to thank you for joining us. This is the largest voice summit in the what? In the world. That's a big deal.
It is.
To see more Think Tank with Steve Adubato programs and to listen to Think Tank with Steve Adubato, the podcast, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD. And follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Welcome to the Voice Summit here at NJIT in Newark, New Jersey. It is our honor to meet for the first time Brent Barcus, who is owner and sound strategist at I-65 Music, which is?
Audio branding agency.
Oh, come on. Listen, let's break this down. Audio brand, is it sound branding, audio branding, or does it mean the same thing?
Yeah, it's
what does
kind
that
of the
mean?
same thing. That means, all brands want to have a visual, but do you know what a brand sounds like? So it's creating those strategic audio assets that a brand uses so that you recognize that brand through audio.
Brent, you threw me off here. I spent 5 years of my life writing a book called You Are the Brand. I'm not plugging it. It's out of circulation. I never mentioned this field, maybe because it was 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, remember the jingle. I mean,
okay. Is that it? Okay, so you guys have done work for Purina, Hexbugs, a whole bunch of other folks. Are you saying to really be a brand, identify today in a competitive, very competitive, complex marketplace, you got to have a sound?
That's right, absolutely.
Everyone?
Well, with screenless technology, like we're here with Voice Summit, with the audio and the voice happening, hey, people aren't going to be as much, using their thumbs, not going to be looking at screens. So, how do I recognize your brand through that voice or through that sound that they're hearing? So it's ultimately recognizable, and then they want to order. They want to use your brand based on that.
What do you have to find out? Sorry for interrupting. What do you have to find out, Brett, about a brand before you and your colleagues can come up with a sound?
We go through, we'd love to have the branding playbook, so it could be mood, genre, what key...
Market? Market matters?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who the market is matters?
Mm-hmm. Market, age, demographic, obviously.
Really?
Well, sonically, I mean, Give
me an example.
Okay, let's see. A younger brand. What's a young brand?
Give me a young brand.
Apple.
Apple. Okay.
Well, I'm not going to do probably something...
I turn to our younger producers.
I'm not going to do something...
You're not getting it from
too
me.
Symphonic.
Okay, good.
I'm probably going to go urban. I'm going to go urban, so I'm going to do beats. I'm going to, my sonic brand is going to have urban influences.
Urban influences.
Yeah, audio-wise. So beats.
Younger demographic. Really?
Oh, absolutely.
You're not doing Sinatra? Sorry, I just dated my... No, way before my time. I'm just saying. Give us an example over at I-65 Music, how you've taken or would take a brand, a company in a marketplace, and you say, we got a sound for you. Give us an example.
Nashville Predators, NHL hockey franchise, one of our clients, Nashville Predators. So basically, we just did a new campaign for a ticket package for next season. Basically, then we go in, we find out, I'm from Nashville, so I know a little bit. It's a little special because I'm a fan and I'm local, so I kind of know what audience.
Is there a country
to.
sound?
No, not on this.
Stop.
No,
I would have assumed
it's
that.
rock. It's edgy. It's hockey. It's European, and so there's a rock influence. There's a little bit of a metal sound. So a lot of fuzzy guitars, beats. Kind of a rock influence on this. Now, I'm not saying they would do that on every product or whatever package they're selling. But
Is there singing?
This specific one, that's where they were going.
Is there singing?
No, voiceover.
Hold on.
And some background vocals. So we stacked. We did kind of the '80s rock thing. We stacked a bunch of big anthem rock background vocals.
Okay, so it's not. I'm thinking old school in the '70s.
I wish I had my video.
No, but I'm curious about this. So it's not like. I'm thinking about like a peanut butter brand or some brand back in the '70s when I'm a kid, where there's a whole song associated with it, with lyrics, and that's not it?
Well, there's an audio, we can create a whole toolkit. So basically, if you're going, there might be a long form song, which would be more your jingle, like a 2 to 3 minutes full song, but then you would break up those, you'd have a sonic logo, it might be 2 to 3 seconds.
You keep calling it a sonic logo, what does that mean?
Sonic logo would be, or a mnemonic would be, a little bit of it'd be like 3 or 4 notes that you would start to identify that they would put in all their different, maybe social media spots.
Hold on one second.
Honda has one. Honda has a great one. Xbox, whether it's the intro music to a game, or those are your little sonic logos.
That I know it's...
the uprise of a song, when you turn a computer on, and that uprise, that's their logo.
Hold on one second, I'm going to play devil's advocate. We just recently had our good friend Bob Lee, who, after 40 years at ESPN, stepped aside, but I was telling him how ESPN has been such a big part of my life. That's what I did.
That's it. That's it.
I know it's coming on.
That's your
logo. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Why don't you just say that? Then I would have understood. That's it.
That's the Sonic logo. But everybody knows that.
But it takes a lot. People go, oh, so they have a couple notes.
No. We all know that. I mean,
Now it seems easy. But somebody was sitting there going, who's their demographic? What is the product? What's the content look like?
Yeah.
Sorry, I won't keep doing that. I'm sorry. Let's try this. I'm curious about this. There's no typing. Okay, because in voice, there's less and less, typing. Siri is a big part of this. Amazon Alexa is sponsoring this big event. As people type less, does it create more market opportunity for you and your colleagues?
I think so, for me especially, because I'm in the audio business. So anything that would allow me to, brand a company and use this space to, for their marketing purposes, of course, because that's what we're all about. We're all about communicating a brand's message through audio and voice.
Had you been in Newark?
No, I've performed here. I used to tour. I was a touring musician for years.
And you came through Newark?
Oh yeah. Prudential, I think.
Let me ask you something. What does Newark feel like today, being at the Voice Summit here at NJIT? kind of energy you feeling?
This is amazing. I mean, for us, this is exciting. I mean, you got the greatest, thought leaders in this space. And so for me to be here and to represent I-65 Music, learn from the greats, and then take it back and apply it in our industry, it's the best.
Well done. We've been listening to Brent Barcus, who is the owner and sound strategist at I-65 Music. I want to thank you for joining us. You've added a lot to this conversation.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Think Tank with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 30 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of Think Tank with Steve Adubato has been provided by Hackensack Meridian Health, PSE&G, the Northward Center, the law firm of Gibbons, PC, the New Jersey Education Association, Choose New Jersey, and by MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey. Promotional support provided by Insider NJ and by NJ.com. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
PSE&G is building New Jersey's clean energy future. We're working to protect our network against extreme weather, expanding and upgrading transmission lines, and modernizing our natural gas system by installing new, more durable underground pipes. At PSE&G, our goal is to make sure you have the safe, reliable energy you need to power your life now and into the future.